evening. It's good to see everyone here for the April 26th meeting of the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners. It's good to see everyone this evening. We had a work session at 4 o'clock. We appreciate those that you came early and sat through those couple of hours with us as well. At this time, we'll stand for the pledge and the invocation. Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for another day that you've given us. We thank you for another opportunity to come together and take care of the business of the county. We ask, as we do always, dear Lord, that you would just guide our thoughts, our actions, and our words, that everything that we say and do, first of all, will bring glory to you and be what's in the best interest of the county. We ask that you be with everyone who is here tonight as they leave from this place. Give them a safe trip back home, and we pray these things in your name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you have your cell phone or any other electronic device, would you mind turning that off for the duration of the meeting? We would appreciate it. The first item will be to adopt the agenda. Is there anything that needs to be changed or added? If not, can we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Have a second? Second. All in favor? All right, we have the minutes from the April 13th regular meeting. Are there any corrections or changes? And I believe, Mr. Gay, you have one clarification.
Yes, ma'am. There was an issue with the renaming of O'Reilly Road. And what we really needed to do with that was just to have a published notice and bring that back where the board has to run in the paper 2 times. And so what I want to do is just clarify that the board's action was to indeed run that public notice, and then we'll have that back on. We should be able to meet the advertising and have it back on your May the 11th or 12th? 11th meeting. So at that time, we'll have the hearing and the board can then make the decision on the name change.
Okay. Are there any other changes?
Having heard with that exception, I move the minutes be accepted as presented.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, we're coming to time for the municipal comments. We have Mayor Glover from Greenville.
Don't have anything, thank you.
Okay. Mayor Prater from Warm Springs.
Thank you, ma'am. Happy to announce that last week I signed a business license for the West Georgia Health Services Oncology to begin providing oncology services in the professional building at Warm Springs Hospital. This is the way that the group out of Columbus began, that we were able to get the dialysis unit in Warm Springs. I'm hopeful that by beginning with the oncology group doing outpatient services, we may be able to see some. The oncologist is going to come over, and I think they're going to do infusion therapy there in the meantime, so that our residents in our area will have to drive all the way to the main to infusion. Also, this Thursday morning, we've got a meeting with BOC, Department of Community Affairs, the Downtown Working Association, the Downtown Authority, and several others to discuss the need for some improvements in our downtown area to make it more accessible and safer. DOT has made a resurvey of some situations, and we're going to be clarifying them. Hopefully some of the other agencies will be able to come in with DOT and provide some financial assistance to help us get some ramps and some rails going from the parking up to businesses on those places where we've got high speed.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other municipalities represented? Okay. Okay, we'll move on to our constitutional officers. Sheriff Smith,
No, ma'am.
any other office? Okay, we'll move on to our department heads. Chris?
Yes, now I do have one thing. The one big project I'm working on right now is our storm ready community redesignation with National Weather Service. And I anticipate that we'll have that designation approval by the second week in May. So hopefully for the next, end of the month meeting, be able to hang out a plaque on the wall and everything.
Okay. Thank you. Brent?
Nothing this time.
Bruce?
No, ma'am, I don't really think this time.
Is that all the departments? Okay, Susan with the Extension Office. Carolyn with Chamber.
Yes, ma'am, just a couple of quick things. We're still working on a date for our candidates forum. We're hoping that that will be on May 19th, and that will be for the candidates who have opposition in the primary. So I'll keep you posted on that. We're also recruiting for Leadership Meriwether, which will begin in August. So if you all have candidates that you would like to recommend, I would be very happy to receive information related to that. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess she said that.
All right, that covers everyone. All right, we do not have a need for a public hearing. We'll go to old business. First of all, is the appointment to the Recreation Advisory Board for District 5. That is the Warm Springs area, and we have, Mayor Prater had sent us a letter saying that he needed to step down from that and gave a recommendation of a Michael Lear. So I'd like to offer that in the form of a nomination for the Recreation Board. You have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Next, under old business, will be a budget amendment number 7. This was something left from last time. Did we not do something?
But we tabled it from last month.
Okay.
We weren't ready yet, but we're ready now.
Okay.
This was, in the budget last year, the board approved $275,000 for employee benefit package that we have worked on since then. And in those items are, of course, the merit raises, retirement adjustments, wellness program prizes, Christmas bonuses, and among other things. And what this budget amendment number 7 is once we've awarded those merit raises and calculated what the retirement costs are going to be, we were able to, as you'll see on the next 2 pages behind it, distribute those costs to the individual departments and constitutional officers. And the total came to about $220,000, so we were under budget. Some of that is we weren't able to get those numbers together until January 1, so we've got 3 months that we didn't incur any costs, but still we're significantly under budget on that. And we hope to drop that down to capital improvement at some point in time.
Okay. All right, can we have a motion to accept this budget amendment number 7?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Thank you. All right, under new business, we have our 2016 insurance benefit review.
Yeah, we'll ask James to come up.
Good evening.
Hey,
I'm James Clark. I'm the accountant management for the day-to-day activities that goes on with the account. Me and Beverly work hand in hand. Apologize that Tammy, who is our vice president over account management, was not able to be here, or Scott, in this case. They had prior commitments. But first I want to thank, I believe it's 7 or 8 years of partnership with Shaw Hankins and Meriwether. We thank you for that. And we're glad too to be bringing some good news. But that good news is not on our part, it is on Meriwether's part, because about 5 years ago, they implemented a wellness plan. And if you remember from last year, it came back, finally some results, and this year we've got even more results. So, this booklet is the one with a few minor revisions of some numbers. Is what we went over with Beverly and Bill and Darren last week. What we have here is pretty much an executive summary, kind of summarizing all that. So we'll go through that right quick. You're with UHC right now. Original renewal came back at 6.4% increase. We were able to negotiate that to be a no increase, 0%. We attribute that to being what the wellness is. You had a 57% loss ratio, which is very, very good. 40% credible, which what that means is when United Healthcare looked at your case, they took 40%, took a look of y'all, and took 40% of that to determine on the race. The other 60% came within the whole block of United Healthcare. So, also a very good point, no claims over $75,000. You can see the U.S. United Healthcare's national trend was 9.7%. And like I said, going back to that, a lot of my other accounts that deal with a lot of other government, they're getting rate increases. And I'm like, you put in a wellness plan. I always say, I got an account that's paying off for them and it's coming back. So if y'all go down to ACCG next week, you hear people saying increases, and you say, well, we didn't get one. In fact, we got some better news. So this is good news. We got better news later. So y'all just, mention that Hankins was able to help y'all. And so, one thing with UHC that they are changing, and this is not a plus, emergency room coverage has changed, is when you used to out of network, or if you were involved in an accident or something, you had an emergency, you had to go to the emergency room, and it was an out of network hospital that you went to, that it was billed as in network and it covered everything. UHC has now changed it to where they will allow the hospital to balance bill them for over the amount that they had. Now, we haven't heard that from the other carriers for doing that. We've only heard that from United Healthcare. Aetna came back with a very good rate, 15.7% below current rates. That's a savings annually of $135,000. Now, like I said, not many counties are getting that kind of new savings. Usually they're getting that of the increase. Now, we'll be showing you the Aetna dental plan too. That's one thing we didn't show. I did talk to them today, but we were able to get Aetna to bid on that or put in a quote for that after our meeting last week. And if you go with the dental, they will do an additional 1% off the medical, will give you another $7,200 of savings if you package the dental with it. Originally, we had a $5,000 wellness allowance. In other words, Aetna will give you $5,000. They were going to do a biometric screening. Well, y'all already do biometric screenings with the UHC, or
The CHP.
CHP, yeah. So we went to Aetna and said, hey, look, we're not going to utilize that. What else can you give us? And they gave us $2,500 more for wellness allowance. So $7,500. Blue Cross Blue Shield proposal came at 11.6 below current rates. So that would give you $100,000 annual savings. You are in the ACCG pool when you go back in there. So when you do that, when they look at your rates every year, they're looking at everybody in ACCG. Okay. Just a little mention, Cigna came back with 4.2% below current rates, $36,000. You can hardly see that. Now this is more of the benefits of what you see on the left in your book or paper. You see what's current there on the left column. You see under Aetna, the green is a better benefit, so which here is more of the specialist that went down, copay went down by $5. Yellow is a little bit higher, and the only thing we did there was the out-of-pocket maximum for Aetna went up on the in-network and out-of-network. And the prescription drugs, tier 3 went up $5. Now, you see on tier 1, they actually have a $3/$15, where all the others just have a flat $10. What that is preferred value or generic. Preferred value are your more common use drugs, mainly maintenance type drugs. Cholesterol, triglycerides, some, many others. A generic, the $15 one maybe it's just not a very common type maintenance, but it is a maintenance drug, so we just want to point that out too. And then you can see what Blue Cross Blue Shield, they pretty much mirrored United Healthcare's plan, and so did Cigna. Any questions on medical so far? All right. The next one is, so we look to say, okay, if you're considering moving to Aetna, we want to see what providers are in network for, and so we pulled the top 25 utilized providers, and you see here, all of them except for one is in network with Aetna. So we just want to make sure and stress, if you do want to move to Aetna, there is one, a Patricia Cabani is not a provider in Aetna. Now, that doesn't mean she can't be a provider if she chooses. We could actually, and Beverly's already instructed us if this is the direction you want to go, that she wants her contacted this week, by Aetna, inviting her to join their network. Now that is not a quick process. That is kind of lengthy, so it wouldn't be to where she would probably be in network by July 1st effective date. It will be after that, so we do want to make sure we make note of that. Next is just some geographical accessibility of Aetna network, how many primary care physicians within 10 miles. There's two OBGYNs within 15, pediatricians within 15 miles, one hospital within 20 miles, and so forth. Okay, this was a big situation too. We wanted to make sure that most of the hospitals and pretty much all the hospitals around the area are in network for Aetna as well as Blue Cross Blue Shield. The Upson Regional, West Georgia Medical Center, St. Francis, Columbus, Piedmont, Union, Orange Springs, and Tanner, and Carrollton. We didn't list, but me and Beverly checked a lot of doctors in the range areas, the ones that she just thought of. I was on there checking it today, and there are a lot of doctors. The only one that we couldn't find was Ms. Ivana.
Here in Greenville. I think Matt Clements also was in the network too.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Any questions on, if we can move to the dental, any questions on medical? Okay. All right, so dental. MetLife came back with almost a 16% increase annually. Aetna came with only a 2.3% increase, which would be about $1,400 over what you're spending now. Now, here's the other part. If you decide to elect Aetna and you do the medical and dental again, you get 1% off the medical, but then they shave another 2%. Well, she got that written different. It was 4.3%. If you go with the Aetna medical and dental, then it's 2.3%, which is a savings of $7,200 on medical with the dental package. Now you have the dental, it's going to offset that, so I guess really your savings is about 55. Yeah, something like that. We also proposed emeritus, and they came back at matching the current rates. There was another company called Always Care. They came under with a negative 1.2%, a little bit better savings. Now, Aetna, Emeritus, and Always Care did offer an open enrollment on dental to waive all waiting periods. So, in other words, if a person who's currently employed here and they in the past did not enroll their family and they want to enroll them now, they get it in with no waiting periods allowed. Now, if they wait later down the road, a waiting period will be applied. So, because they pretty much 100% paid by the board, so almost, I'd say 95% of the people do have dental on the employee level. So the next one, we break down of the benefit summary. The changes here on the yellow is, of course, with Aetna, the bike wings, where you get 2 per year under the MetLife that you got now. It's 1 per year, which is kind of common for a lot of carriers. They will put a late entrance on 12 months basic, major, and orthodontia, as, like I said, that wouldn't apply this year, but to later years it will. Then we had 2 columns with the Aetna, on what the Aetna was standalone, and then if you bundle it with the medical, how much it would be there. Emeritus mirrored MetLife, except they did add a late entrant on there also. And you can see Always Care, the only other 2 things that were a little different was the fluoride treatment and sealants, they would only go to age 16. Any questions? All right, vision. UHC came back with no increase. And this is one of those, just to let you know, if you do decide to move the medical to another carrier, you can still keep the vision with UHC if you like, okay? But they came back with no increase. Emeritus matched those rates at 0%. Emeritus has, this was one thing, with dental, it's a little different than medical and vision as far as, in-network and out-of-network providers. You can still go to out-of-network. That's not in the network of like Aetna or Emeritus, and you don't usually have a huge difference in cost. When you get into vision, you really want to use an in-network. So we did check some vision carriers in the area. We did see where Emeritus has no Walmart close by. I think the closest one is Snellville. I don't think anybody wants to go up there. So they were in network. Always Care came back with a 2% decrease in the rates. We did find the ones, pretty much everybody in Manchester was in network with, well, of course, with United Healthcare on there.
Is that the one, the Woodbury and Greenville, were they in network, Fairmont?
There was one that, I don't think Always Care had any
Provision?
of the people.
You talking about for vision? We don't have anybody here, do we?
Oh, okay, never
We
mind.
just have
Yeah.
the
I was-
Dr.
never mind,
Manchester.
I was thinking-
The Always Care, I don't think Always Care had anybody in network around here, where Emeritus had a couple, they didn't have the Walmart, but they had the 2 in Manchester. Any questions on it? Oh, got that. Of course, just the benefits there. A few things over United Healthcare, as Emeritus did, up the elective contact lenses from 105 to 115. Now you can see, I don't know why they're out of network. Emeritus out of network, those co-pays or lenses and all actually are less than the UHC out of network. But they did the contact lenses, it doesn't pay as much. So, okay, on basic employer life, MetLife came back with no increase. At renewal, leaving it the same. In fact, we didn't. Listed in here, but in this main book, if you want to look, whatever it is. On page 11 of this main book is where we get the details of it. Where MetLife's renewal rate is still guaranteed for 1 more year. Okay, One America has come in with a reduction in the basic employer life, and they have gave a 3-year rate guarantee. Okay? That's about a $403 a year savings. As we go through this, just keep in mind that with disability and the life insurance, group life and all, this is a package deal with one company. Okay?
So One America's who we just left.
No,
That's
you're
who we
looking
have
at-
our-
That's who we
We've
have
got
with-
retirement with now.
Oh, retirement is with.
Oh, yeah, that's
Okay.
We left MetLife and went to One America on retirement.
On retirement.
Just on the retirement.
Okay.
That's not sure.
Sorry.
Okay, for the voluntary life, MetLife came back with no increase. One America matched that for the rate. Now, here's one thing, on the basic life, there is an age reduction. I believe it's at 65, it reduces 65% of the benefit, and that was on both MetLife and on One America. Under the voluntary term life, which is just the extras they can purchase, there is no age reduction. So if you're still working here at 75, 80 years old, you've got the same benefit as what you selected back in 50. You're like, no.
Me and Beverly,
So,
I'm 80, she's 75.
all other carriers that have proposals included an age, they did reduce the age of that. So, and that was the standard, Lincoln and Hartford, who gave some other rates, but they were a little different. Okay, so disability. We've got the long and short-term disability. MetLife came back with no increase. They did agree, now this is on short-term only. We had a little problem, we said, this past year with a couple of claims, and that was only because y'all had just moved over to MetLife last July 1st, and there was pre-existing condition limitations on that. And when you have that, the company wants to go and get all the medical records, and that delays the process. And a lot of times, doctors don't call them back, and so it did delay. So what MetLife has agreed to do is waive pre-existing conditions on short-term only. That does expedite the claims. Okay. They have promised us a new service team. Even we had mentioned that the service team we had was not meeting our needs as well as y'all's needs. They did come back and say that they can take a telephone claim. This was not something they'd offered last year. In other words, instead of filling out some paperwork, all the employee has to do is call and give them the information over the phone. And what happens then, they send something to Beverly just verifying that this employee is out on disability, verifying the salary, to make sure it matches. One America proposes no increase also. They also have a waiver, waive pre-existing conditions, so that would expedite the claims. Now, they have gave us a W-2 issuance, which means next year, if anybody's been on disability this year, then One America will send a W-2 next year. MetLife we did not have that capability. We had to send out a couple of W-2s. Now they want, one thing too, they do a FICA match. You do have to pay FICA, but One America matches that instead of y'all have to do that. They also will take a telephone claim. Now in the book, that is incorrect. In this book, we did not get that pre-ex corrected for the short term, but for under MetLife and One America, it is supposed to be zero. No pre-ex. Oh, no, not there yet. Okay. Long-term disability. Let me put that in there. It's MetLife is under rate guarantee for long-term disability. One America has matched that and said that's what they would take, exactly what they did. The difference there is MetLife renews next year, where One America will give a 2-year rate guarantee. Let me look right quick on the short term. Same thing there. MetLife has one more year left, where One America would give you a 2-year rate increase. If you go with them. Any questions on the life or disability? Okay. All right, so, go back, I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, one thing now with some of these carriers, I'm trying to remember which one, under the voluntary line. Okay, yeah, MetLife and One America under the voluntary term life have some employee assistance programs, but that's only for those who have voluntary insurance or the voluntary term life. What we have shown, Bill and his team, is an EAP program, employee assistance program, that is a pretty in-depth program. I've had, throughout the year, Beverly's called me on a couple times, that's, hey, we have this situation, and none of the programs that we had at that time could address these situations. But this one, which is called EAP Consultants on the right, you can see there what they've listed compared to United Healthcare, because United Healthcare did have it under their health plan, but as you can see, they include no confidential face-to-face counseling. But EAP Consultants is 3 sessions. Substance abuse, alcohol abuse, not included under United, but yet under EAP Consultants, you can have the telephonic referrals and online database. Client manager, it's unlimited with EAP. Just go on down, as far as internet-based included. All this is included, and so down at the bottom you see where it's $1.55 per employee per month for an employee assistance program. So it does seem that is a need here, and so this is what we were looking for. Any questions on the employee assistance program?
I do. Where it says the monthly premium at $234, that's for the employee, or that's
No,
the
that's
total?
all employees.
So all the-
And the way we did it, it may differ each month, as we have people come on, go off. But basically what our census showed was 151 employees, and multiply that by $1.55 in that day.
Okay.
So that covers all employees.
Kind of hoping with the savings from some of the other insurance that we can implement this new program that's got a lot more to it for our employees than what we've done in the past.
Yeah, this would be
So
available.
this is more like you said, assistance. It just lists like the smoking, the child care assistance that we don't offer right now. Is that what you're saying, Beverly? None of that is being offered?
Yes, ma'am, we don't have that. Right now, we can, the employees, if they have let's just call it an issue, that they need somebody to talk to, they need some help. This gives them a line, this gives them somebody they can go to and talk to.
I got you.
And this is, like, I think Beverly mentioned, this is available to all employees. I mean, there might be an employee who has no coverage whatsoever, they don't have the medical, they don't take advantage of any of them, but yet they have a situation come up that they need
So this could be
counseling.
separate?
Correct,
Okay,
this is
okay,
separate.
separate,
Yeah,
okay, I
With
follow.
EAP Consultants, it is a separate,
Okay, I got
it's not tied to any one benefit. So,
Okay.
where United Healthcare was tied to only those with
Has
with
a-
medical.
Okay.
But as you can see, it did not include a lot, even a lot of things. Myself, I'm going through the elder care, got mom who's getting older, and, I could use some help there, get some good talk. So they give you those kind of assistance, adoption assistance and all. So even identity theft recovery services, that's another benefit that people are trying to come and sell you just for that benefit, which that's included here. Trying to think where
On-site crisis support. That's good.
good question. Anything else? Okay. we also wanted to, there has been some express concern on maybe some life insurance that people can take with them. Now, voluntary life, normally you can't take it with you. There's two different ways of doing it. One of them is what we call portability, which still goes under the rules as in the group. So at some point, if it's age reduction, if they got the voluntary term life, that age reduction, basic life, if they take the basic life with them, it comes under there. So if y'all change down the road, they may have to change carriers. But this one that we're proposing is a whole life with a long-term care rider. This is actually a life insurance policy that you get with a different company. It's with Unum Life. And the reason Scott likes this is a lot of times people need help with long-term care. They get a life insurance policy and then they're like, well, that's long-term care coming up. I need to go into assisted living. This gives you the ability to use it for one or the other. Now, there's a few different ways that you can select this policy too. You can select it to pay for a death benefit and for a long-term care policy, or you can set it up to where you just want to use it either or. In other words, I think it becomes a little bit more money available with long-term care than the other option, but in this option, if you use all the benefit, then there's no death benefit left. So, but you got some options there. Of course, it's going to be a little bit more than the voluntary term life, but it's still affordable because we've got this in a lot of others of our accounts. And even though it says benefit maximum employee $150,000, most of the time when they do see that, they're not getting $150,000. Most of the people that we see getting these type of policies are $20,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, depending on if it's for someone really young, they may get a $50,000 policy. But most of them are getting the lower amount, just to help with final expenses or that. So, any questions on? And this is one, go further. When they leave, they get to take this with them at the same premium they're paying. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with whole life policies, but they are mainly designed to be available till age 100 if you live that long. Premium is a set premium for their entire life, whereas voluntary term life may or may not be. And that's it on everything. Again, thank you, and like I said, we're glad to bring y'all with some good news for health. So I'm glad that the wellness program is really working for y'all. I mean, y'all are a true testament. I mean, like I said, I think a lot of our groups are getting on the bandwagon late. So when they come up against a 35-40% increase from the same company, they're saying, we need to do something.
Well, we were in that same boat one time.
Right.
We know what it was like to get
Yeah.
those increases.
Any overall questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Did we take any?
So we need to take some action if the board is ready tonight. I think our recommendation based upon this would be the Aetna
Aetna's package.
Yeah.
Better than that.
saves $140,000, $150,000. Good.
Do we need to decide at this point if we'd want to do that additional employee assistance program?
Absolutely. We need to do that as
I
well.
think
I think
that's-
that's well
I think
worth
it's-
the dollars.
Too, because it's not
It's
really,
nothing for them.
I know, that's not a lot of money.
It would be
That's a
worth the
lot of
money just to get
benefits
that
for-
burden off of what Beverly has to, time she spends on the phone.
And the dental would also go with
Aetna.
as well. And
Vision, would be with
I would,
UHC.
I would just stay with UHC on
UHC
that.
and the vision.
And the rest of it would go with one there.
And then the voluntary term and,
Right.
okay.
That would be our recommendation.
When does this, I'm sorry, Madam Chair, when would this go into effect? In June?
July 1.
July 1?
We do open enrollment in May. collect in June for the July 1 bill, and it's effective July 1.
May, when in May?
We have what's the
17th and 19th.
17th and 19th, right now it's
And
scheduled
the week
for that.
before, we would probably try to do some meetings all day for them to come, because there will be some major changes here, so we really want.
So the 18th and 19th, no matter what's going to be open enrollment.
Yeah, and the other good thing we're going to do this year, Commissioner, is allow them to call in. So if they can't get here for open enrollment, they can call the call center. Can they go online too, James, or just call the call center? Either one. So that's, we hadn't had that before. We've made everybody come here, so.
You directed that at me?
I'm not looking that direction. I'm not looking over there.
Is that because of the service that Aetna's offering, or is this just a new service altogether? What's the major difference, I guess?
To do to have the online, we're just trying to be more open for our employees and have been
That
working
can
with
go
Sean
along
Hankins,
with any
yeah.
company.
Yeah.
Okay,
Regardless
so
of
I'm just
who we
saying.
went with, we could
Okay,
do
that's what I
that.
wanted to make sure. Whether Aetna was offering this different than, okay.
It'd be good to come here, that way you can see somebody face to face and ask questions. But if you can't come in, then you can pick up the phone and enroll.
What's the major difference? That, I mean, this is based on your recommendation. What was the number one thing that you see over Aetna over than United Healthcare?
Savings.
Savings dollars.
Coverages almost mirror each other.
I mean, to say your copay was exactly the same for your regular doctor, now a specialist, you have to pay $5 more.
Okay.
I mean, $5 less, $5 less, yeah.
But the in-network and out-network maximum amounts is a little more than what we had, but it's a substantial.
But that's a
savings.
substantial savings overall.
The reason I'm asking the 17th and 18th is it's something that needs to be decided. It's going to be a hindrance if we wait until the 11th to vote on it. Is that going to hinder anything between making a decision on the two companies?
Yeah, because we've got a lot of pre-work, like the enrollment guides, we've got to build our enrollment system, put those in there.
I mean, I just don't like it presented and then say vote on it.
Yeah,
right
this,
then.
yeah, without asking, and this is a lot of material.
And the only reason that we're asking for consideration tonight is exactly this, the time. I agree. I wish we could have got this out, because I know they were working on this latest.
Matter of fact, he was working on it until a few hours ago, still getting information in, so getting some better prices that was coming in. I mean, they've really gone to bat for us on that.
Maybe we could
So
Have a special
regardless,
call
we're
meeting.
with Shaw Hankins, but what could change is who our actual provider is.
Right.
Shaw Hankins
Is our broker
Is
that's
our
going
broker.
out.
I mean, if y'all would feel more comfortable looking at it for a few days, I could give you guys a call, get kind of a confirmation, and bring it back for confirmation at the next agenda, if y'all want to look at it, a little while longer. But we need to go ahead and have that decision. What would be the absolute latest you would need to know all the specifics?
I mean,
Tonight?
tonight.
no, I mean, it just delays, like a couple years ago, we were doing, enrollment last week in June, we don't want that, but, I mean, it basically, time it takes us to get everything ready, if you did wait till May 11th, we're probably looking at the first, second week of June, in the maximum enrollment. So that's all it does, it just pushes, it will just keep pushing that enrollment.
call me next week.
Yeah, we could.
I'll do what everybody else.
I'll
would
just
do.
do a call.
Yeah.
Would y'all be comfortable in doing that? Call meeting next week sometime?
Probably we need the clarity on the different programs too, to make sure that, as I understand it, Aetna would be the best choice for the healthcare, the dental, but I was not sure.
Medical and dental, because it's a package to get that.
You get
other
the best
benefits.
Correct, you get the
savings.
best savings. And if vision was, MetLife,
And those companies have been different several times.
Say where we are now with the United Healthcare.
Yeah.
okay, United Healthcare.
But we could provide you a little issue paper for the call meeting that would detail each, dental, vision, medical, whatever, and have it all detailed out for you guys.
For
Let's do
Madam
it
Chair,
next
for
week.
me, just being able to, this is a lot of information and to absorb at one time, and I'm sure that you all have done your due diligence. But once again, it's a saving, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure the benefits are just as good. You can save money, but are you still getting the benefits that the employees want? I personally would need just a little bit more time to read over this.
We completely understand. It's a big,
It is a lot.
it's a lot. It's one of the major programs that you guys have, and let's just say it, we worked on it just very recently. We just met a day or so ago
Yeah.
ourselves on the final.
Since
Yeah.
tonight is Tuesday, if we give it a week, is that enough for everybody to look over? If we try to have a call meeting on the 3rd,
Can we do it
May
early?
3rd?
can we do it early that morning? Can we do,
If we push the.
What day is that?
Tuesday. Can we do it early that morning? 9 a.m., we will only be here a few minutes
Yeah,
to do it. Is that?
that works for me.
And then the other question would be contacting Dr. Eubaney to get her in network. I don't know how many employees actually would use her here
Said
in
14 did.
Greenville. But
Yeah, it did show on
Said
there.
14 used her.
Was she with the jail at some point? No?
I don't think so. And I'm sorry to ask for the lady.
That's no
Okay.
problem. We'd already talked
It's
about.
it's a lot to
about
look
that.
at. We've had several meetings already to discuss it. It keeps changing.
We actually, I think that would be better if you guys did that. 'Cause it's
Is
just,
that good, May 3rd? Let you
Such
know
a
May
big,
3rd?
major program.
Yeah, I mean.
The morning of May 3rd.
Yeah, the morning of May 3rd?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so we can have a motion to table this.
I think it's just.
I think just
And it-
continue to,
Can we go ahead
May
and
3rd.
set that to May 3rd, call meeting at 9 a.m. for the purpose of going over our, some,
right, decision on benefit review.
okay. All right, can we have a motion to table the benefits renewal decision until a call meeting on Tuesday, May 3rd at 9 a.m.?
So moved.
We have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
All right, we'll do that. I just want to say one thing about Shaw Hankins. I had to use insurance a couple of times this year, and I had to have some assistance to call in. And it was the easiest process ever to call in and to talk to somebody and get the information I needed. It was no hassle whatsoever.
That's the whole thing.
Appreciate it. All right, work authorization for engineering on the FEMA projects.
Yes, Madam Chairman, Commissioners, we talked about this in the work session. What this is a scope of services approval for Claw Harbor Associates. What they're doing is they're asking to do a phase 1 analysis of road hydrology and hydrological analysis on Judson Bullock, Graham, Montgomery roads. Those are the ones that we said we need the additional work. This will include survey work, etc. Total cost on that for the survey and the studies is $29,963, and that includes all 3 roads. And again, I will be talking, I've already spoke to FEMA today, but I'll be talking with them again on Thursday to be sure that, we get reimbursement coverage on that, because it is a necessary part to be able to repair these roads. The other scope of service that we would ask for consideration on would be for assistance with letting and construction assistance for Jude Line and King Road culvert replacements projects. And what that will do is help us in expediting those projects to move them along faster.
So what you want is 2 motions.
You could do one motion and just approve both would be fine.
Okay.
So it would be 2 scope of services agreements, one for, the hydrology and one for the assistance review.
Okay. All right, hearing the recommendation from Mr. Gagg, we have a motion to accept the work authorization for engineering in relating to the bids, the scope, what you call it, scope?
It's a scope of services.
Scope of services, okay.
So moved.
All right, we have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we have a report from our finance director, Mr. Field.
Excuse me, you've got the report for the bank balances. We're still enjoying a robust bank balance in the general fund, which is great to see. I don't really foresee that dropping that much in the next couple of months, but I'll probably come to you at the evening meeting next month asking if you're okay to put out our RFP for the TAN. But everything still looks good. Be glad to answer any questions you got.
Anybody have any questions? All right, now we have a report from our county administrator.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Just briefly on the courthouse wall project, I've been talking back with GDOT and everyone on that. As you know, they changed the funding mechanism to the LMIG program. And in order to be sure that we get the actual amount of the project, they've asked us to go ahead and seek bids on this. And then once the bids come in, then we'll make the LMIG application and they will give us the notice to proceed. That way we'll be assured that we will get our, they'll pay for 70% of it. And I honestly think when we get through looking at that, we're going to be working on that later this week. I think we're probably going to come out lower than we originally estimated. The other side of it is we've got to bid it instead of GDOT, but we'll take care of that. The animal shelter addition, that is moving forward. We've had Department of Correction groups there. We're expecting the construction supervisors to be in. They're going to come today, and they had something to come up and could not. They're going to reschedule that. We've already did some demolition on the old shelter addition. We've taken down the wire. We've done some grading. We brought in some materials today for them to be able to form the foundations. And then we're expecting when the supervisors come to be able to get a takeoff package where we can bid the balance of the materials. And everything's moving forward, with that project. So, working out, real well. We already talked about the FEMA and the GEMA projects earlier. Continue to work on them and work with everybody. The first quarter methane monitoring at the landfill has come in, and everything's in compliance, and it has been consistently. And that is another one of the reasons we're going to talk about maybe reducing that fund balance that's necessary there. We have also submitted a signed, I think it was last week, the final documents on the Durand landfill. And everything should be completed now. Those have been submitted to the state. And barring any questions they have or any comments that we have to address, that should take care of that program. That's been kind of long outstanding, but that it should go away, and everything will be back in compliance, and we will not have any issues with that. CSX, and see Alan's here tonight just to update you guys on CSX. CSX came back after conversations and after some more calls to GDOT for assistance. They came back with a couple of different offers to be able to bring the bridges back up to speed and to the original design, that they had back when the bridges were built. My concern with that, I've talked to GDOT about it, and I've got another plan of action that I've called CSX on, is I didn't want us to come in and spend those dollars and do that, and then have GDOT have any issue with what had been done. I want to be sure the sufficiency rating and tonnage was okay. So what I've asked CSX to provide us with a document of what they plan on doing. I want to see the plans that they have. I want to see what the work they're talking about consists of. And then I want to take it to GDOT and let GDOT look and say, hey, because when we were down and meeting with GDOT, they said if you do this, that, and the other, it'll go up to 8 tons, 12 tons, whatever. Well, I want to see what CSX is proposing to do. And then, if it's, rating is good, because engineers like to say, well, it's only this. But in reality, you may get a much better rating out of that than what their original design was. So CSX seems, at this stage, very willing to work with us on this. And like I say, I've called them as late as today to request the drawings and the work they plan to do. And if GDOT says, hey, this is fine with us, it'll be a sufficient rating, then I will call them back and we'll move forward with an agreement to do that.
When do you think we'll have those back?
I've called him today. I called Craig Lusso today, and I will call him back tomorrow to see if I can get him. If he can just email it to me, that would be fine. I can turn around and send them to GDOT and say, look at these and let me know, what we're doing. And, because that's one of those things I just want to get off our plate and have a plan. But they did tell me that it may be, late summer if they order materials and everything before they can get started. And I told them, I think we're fine with the timeline as long as we know we're going to get it done. And that's the key component.
Thurman, we're still having to go in and out 25 minutes every day. It's not fine to keep waiting and waiting. We're supposed to be on the agenda today, and I talked to you this week about that.
I talked to you yesterday. I talked to you yesterday. You never asked, you were on the agenda last week.
I ask you that every time before we got phone.
Anyway, I talked to him yesterday.
But you didn't say any of this right here.
I did. I told you the same thing. I told your dad the same thing the end of the week.
I'm still having to go around every day, and nothing's going on. You want to wait till the end of the summer? We don't have to, you don't have to drive all
Alan,
that far.
I told you yesterday, and what you said was, well, we're all right with the time frame of what they're trying to do as long as we can get something out there and know they're going to do it. You told me that yesterday.
If we get started.
I understand.
But I also told you I want to be on the agenda. Last thing I
The
said.
agenda had gone out on Friday.
Yeah,
I couldn't
agenda
Well, I
do
told
it.
you that the last 3 or 4 times I've talked to you, Thurman, this whole time. Y'all want me to speak because y'all don't want nobody to know I got to walk home. I mean, we're still in the same situation.
I don't think anybody's walking home.
Nobody's done anything.
You'll have a
Still
chance,
there, sir.
you'll have a chance to speak in a minute when it comes to.
We're gonna let you speak at public comment.
That's right.
But she already went past the public comment.
No,
This is
we have another one.
And that's why I told you yesterday, you're welcome to come. I couldn't get you on the agenda was already out. But anyway, any other questions on CSX?
Well, one comment I want to just make on the CSX, that I know in a conversation you and I had, there was a time where they appeared to be maybe not backtracking, but, going slow, and because of some, GDOT got involved
That's
and
right.
I think put some fire
Yeah.
under them, so I think that's why we've been able to progress to the point where we are.
Yeah, and in my conversation with Jim Sibley here a couple of weeks ago, he just wanted to be sure that we were still doing because, it kind of hadn't been a lot of discussion on it, but I assured him, we're still making those calls. We're still trying to reach out to those folks. And I know this has been going on for 20 years. I'm sorry, none of us were here 20 years ago. We are, we're going to resolve it. I wish I could snap my fingers and be done tomorrow, but, can't do that. But we've shown the persistence that we're going to get it done, and we are. But, we're not in control of all the time. I wish we were. Moving on from CSX, I want to ask Chris to come up in just a moment, if you don't mind, Chris. As is when anytime you get a very, very talented individual out there who, does a great job with you and is very young and ambitious, you end up sometimes not being able to keep those people long term. And I know Chris has some other goals in his life and some other things and dreams that he and his family have been working toward. And I'm very proud for him. Proud of the time I got to work with him, proud of the job he's done here. But I'm also proud for him for reaching out and wanting to move to the next level and wanting to do some things. So Chris has accepted another job, and he has tendered his resignation with his last day effective May the 27th. And, I'd love to see him stay here, but I also want to wish him the very best on his future endeavors. So, Chris, we appreciate what you've done for us.
Thank you, we do appreciate it.
And that's all I have. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Threadgill,
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Plant. I have a couple of things I just want to mention. First of all, we'd just like to, on behalf of the board, we'd like to extend our sympathies to Mr. Dunaway and the loss of his father in the last few days. Certainly been thinking about you. It's been a busy week, or last week or so. We had the chamber put on a really nice event last week. It was good participation. I think I heard someone say that was a record crowd. And it was really nice. Appreciate all the work and stuff that was done there. It's good. Theron and I had the opportunity to speak at the Mount Hope community this past week. That's in my district. And I guess it's been a couple of months ago, we had somebody come and approach us about closing a road, and it would actually affect a lot of those people in that community, and they certainly do not want it closed. And I just want to give kudos to the people who live out there, because while they were upset that this road may possibly be closed, I think Theron could see it too. They've got each other's back out there as a neighborhood, as a community. And sometimes when something doesn't go our way, it's real easy just to think, what's better for me? And, I want what I want and when I want it. And they were so good about trying to work together, with this one neighbor who's really having the difficulties out there with people damaging his property with trash or whatever. And it's just, I think we have lots of that over our community. And it was just really, there was about 50 people there the other night, and it was a great meeting. I guess we met probably nearly 2 hours. And but just a good camaraderie with the people there and reaching out to their neighbors. So I just want to offer that as to the people who live in the Mount Hope community, their willingness to work with each other and be good neighbors and not just look after themselves. So that was a real positive thing of the week. Jane could not be here tonight for the meeting, and she's going to have a report for us on our first countywide cleanup. We don't have all the numbers. What she had so far before she left was that we know at least 500 bags of litter was picked up on Saturday, but there's about 10 teams that have not even reported. So I think in any way you look at that, that's going to be a success. So we'll look forward to getting the rest of her report and hearing that. There were just people out everywhere. And I know my store was out picking up Saturday. We had to do it early Saturday morning, and a car comes by just really slow, and then they finally stopped and they said, "Is this a bunch of inmates out here?" And so somebody said, "Well, no." They said, "Well, didn't really think they looked like inmates." Or maybe the orange bags, maybe they thought it was inmates. But it was a good, I know there was lots of people out working really hard, and like I said, I can't wait to get all the reports. And like I said, we want it to be something that's going to continue. I know there's some that's already said that they'll be out there working on their own, but maybe we can get some organized groups to continue to pick up the litter as we move forward. The end of this week, several of the commissioners will be attending the ACCG conference in Savannah. It's always a lot of good information there. There's classes there as well. So hopefully when we come back from there, we'll have some legislative updates. We'll have learned something new perhaps that will benefit the county in the months to come. And I believe that's it, Commissioner McCoy.
You did a great job. No further comment.
Commissioner Hines.
Oh, I gotta say something. Just a couple of things. Last week was a busy week. Chairman and I went to Atlanta to the Georgia Economic Development Association Film Day, and that was a very good program. It was interesting to know that Georgia's had a 40-year history of films being made in our state from Deliverance. I think it was 1972?
That was in the 70s. That was the first one.
The first movie was The Deliverance in 1972. So it was interesting to see how Georgia's positioned themselves in the filming industry. Right now, Georgia ranks number 3. So that's good opportunity, economic development, and once again, that's good for Meriwether County, because we made everybody be aware that the real Woodbury is in Meriwether County. So that was good. The other thing that same week was Earth Day recognition, and the city of Greenville was honored to have the representative from USDA to recognize them for Earth Day with their sewage plant, water treatment plant. So that was another opportunity for us, so that was good. And once again, the chamber event was extremely well successful. But once again, I do want to just comment on our cleanup day. It was quite successful. Saw a lot of people out, and I have some pictures, but we probably don't have a chance to show it right now. But it was nice to see a lot of young people out. In the Luthersville area, we had a lot of young people that was out. And so if we get them to learn the importance of keeping Meriwether County beautiful and getting our young people involved, that's the biggest start. So say kudos to everybody who got involved with cleanup, keep Meriwether County beautiful.
Thank you. Ms. Henderson?
I don't have anything for the meeting. We do have personnel and legal matters to discuss in executive session.
Okay. All right, we will have an executive session, but before we do that, we have the time of public comment. If anyone would like to say anything, if you'll come to the podium and give us your name and sign the sign-up sheet, and we'll give you 3 minutes to speak.
Mr. Sibley, please sign up for me, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
I'm not on Sibley, I just want everybody to know. I'm still having to go down the closed road, it's blocked off. Got to take tractors in and out 2.5 miles, through 3 lock gates, get out, open them, close them, block them back every time. It takes a long time, a lot out of my life. I can't wait all summer. I mean, I know I got to, but move the concrete, let me go across the bridge for now. I mean, y'all move it, y'all put it there,
Well,
I can't move it.
I asked GDOT about moving that, and they would not give me clearance to do that. They
Well,
just said
I
they
mean, I
wouldn't
can't,
talk to me.
you know, it's raining, it's
Yeah.
bad weather, I mean, y'all
Understand.
think about it. Y'all don't have to do that to get your house. Does anybody in this country got a road closed, goes to their house? Man, it's ridiculous, y'all. And nobody acts like they care. Nobody's made a phone call but him out on bed. Anybody?
He's
Is anybody?
He's
We
the one
have-
that's-
But I mean, he's one man. This is the second biggest county in the state of Georgia. He can't do it so much on his plate.
He calls
Can't anybody help?
Alan, he calls on our behalf.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but he's one person. He can't stay on
He
it all the
is,
time.
and to
Y'all
have that
all get involved.
consistency.
The railroad
But
is
to have the
a consistent
consistency
now.
of one person communicating with each of those entities, he gets much
It's-
quicker results than it does if 5 or
It
6
ain't got
people
none
are
in
calling.
20 years. We ain't got anywhere.
More's been
And I'm
done in the
walking
last
home
few
now.
months that's been done in
Yeah,
several years.
a
You
conference
know
in
that.
front of the bridge and I'm walking home.
But
That's-
GDOT won't let us move them. We can't
Well,
move
it's
them.
y'all's problem. Y'all got elected. This bridge is condemned. It didn't just get condemned yesterday. Y'all knew it was coming. Everybody in here. You've been at meetings many times when I've been up here and talked about it. You've been on the bridge years ago. You knew it was coming to this. Because you were there when I was there. And you, DOT, and the railroad. And lied to us then to our face.
That's right.
They're not going to do anything until we do something drastic.
We were
And
going
it's
what
gonna
they
take
told us
everybody.
they would do.
They're going to lie.
We understand that.
Yeah.
We understand.
So
But
somebody's
GDOT
got
is
to do
behind
something.
the railroad now. I guarantee you something's gonna happen.
I haven't seen nothing happening. I've seen nobody out there. Nobody comes in. Nobody comes in and passes the whole road. Nobody cuts the right of ways. Nobody does nothing on the road, period. At all.
It will happen, and what I don't want to see is, Alan is right, it kind of gets Band-Aided, and then it gets closed again, and it's Band-Aided, closed again. I don't want to see that. That's why I said earlier, I want to take what CSX is planning on doing, take it to the GDOT bridge engineers and say, what do you guys think? You think this will solve our problem for?
Will they take 2 months to do that, though? Or will they look at it and say,
No,
hey,
what I've said on 2 months, and you and I talked about this yesterday, is the CSX guy told me that it would take some lead time to order the materials, because
Oh, I
those
understand
materials
that.
are not on the yard anywhere. I mean, they're pressure treated or coated or whatever they do. It used to creosote them, but.
They're actually creosote.
They're still
But they told us it was going to be
Yeah.
last time.
And,
So,
yeah, I understand, but this is not last time.
yeah.
It's not last
It's
time.
going on again.
And, you know, again, when I get that in, I want to see what GDOT. Last thing I want to do is have CSX come in, and I don't care about CSX, I'm talking about from our perspective, and make repairs, and then GDOT come along and say, that's insufficient. I want to be sure when they're made.
Well, the
that
railroad
that's-
guys, they don't have to do nothing but the 3 tons. Is
They-
theirs.
well-
And now they've changed it to 5. the
That's
last
what
time they
GDOT's
said.
changed it to 5.
Yeah.
But there again, what they call 3 tons, maybe 12 tons.
Well, that's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
All
what
I
I
want to do
would
is get
do.
my truck and trailer and tractor across the
Understand.
road. That's all I want to do.
Understand,
And get cows in and out.
understand.
You know, without going through 3 gates and having to
Yeah.
lock each one
Right.
every time.
Right.
And that's what I have to do.
I'm gonna take you up on lunch when I get this done, okay?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I wouldn't if I were you.
All right, anybody else want to speak?
Yes, thank you. Do I need to write this?
You need her name.
I think you recognize it.
The catalyst for my comments, and I'll make it quick, were comments Ms. Hines said about Film Academy. Speaking of the film discussion that you all had in Atlanta last week. And I want to just remind all of us that there are 3 film academies currently in Georgia. And the language that has been put out is that these film academies are, this is like a pilot, first phase. Meriwether County, particularly West Georgia Technical College, really needs to start lobbying advocacy effort to become the next wave of Film Academy. We have the Legacy Film Ranch going on. We've had a number of TV and movie series filmed here. It's a very important workforce development initiative. We've talked about it in our Partners in Ed team. Mr. Perrin Aldred is in there. He didn't have a lot of encouraging comments when we brought it up. We've talked about it in our Together in Meriwether meeting. I talked to Gretchen Corbin when we were at the Capitol Day this spring. But I want to put it in y'all's head as you're interacting with folks who might have or might be able to influence this decision. I don't know whose hands the decision is in, what criteria they will be using to make that decision, but if at all possible, Meriwether County, West Georgia Technical College needs to be in the queue, at least for consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, her speaking just then, Ms. Carolyn, made me think of something. We need to have a work session where you're invited to come and let's lay out some initiatives you're looking at next year, down the road, whatever. And so we can all kind of look at them and get our hands around them. I think it would be a great thing. It would help us all, Ms. Carolyn.
Madam Chair, I want to add on to that. In that discussion, when we do that, it also needs to be discussed on a regional basis. Simply because most of the work that's being done is very regional. And Meriwether County is very unique in that we can be that pilot, but considering what's all going on, it definitely needs to be more regional because we can't do it alone. So.
Well, now, West Georgia Technical College, since they combined, especially, they serve like 10 counties. So
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it would be.
the entire region.
Is there anyone else? One thing I should have mentioned when we were talking about the cleanup though, and we talked about this extensively during our work session tonight, but I just want to make mention and express our thanks to Public Works for what they did during the cleanup time. Mr. Bruce mentioned that in the past, it has taken them nearly a week to get everything cleaned up. And if you could have seen the pictures of the dumpsters from the cleanup time, it was just unreal. But the dumpsters were manned, but they also had people there with equipment cleaning up, and by, you said today, they had finished everything.
Tires and all today.
All the sites were cleaned up. But one thing we should have mentioned when we talked about it, and this will just be something for you to know and pass on, we did collect tires, but with the tires we collected, it is $9,000 to dispose of those tires. You know, that's our money. That is money that could be used for other things. So, you know, I don't know what we're going to have to do. There's some of the pictures if you'll look at them if you'll just let those go through. But that's something to think about, how we can address that. That's a lot of money just to dispose of somebody else's tires, whether it's tire shops or just individuals with them. But it was over 1,600 tires so far that was picked up, which thankfully they're off the sides of the road or whatever, just something to think about. All right, we will need to go into executive session, and you're certainly welcome to stay until we get through. We have our future meetings. One, we'll go ahead and mention the special call meeting on Tuesday, May 3rd at 9 a.m. May 11th will be our regular meeting at 9 a.m. and May 24th, our regular meeting at 6 p.m. Can we have a motion to go in executive session at 7:14? All right. Second, all in favor? Okay, we're in executive session.
I guess on the third, I'll leave here, go right down to the meeting.
Well, it's at 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of the 11th. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take